Hello everyone, today we are going to be going over firing the foundry up and melting some aluminum, and we're going to pour some ingots. So let's get this thing going. Okay, I've got the foundry all set up. I've got my oil burner hooked up, my oil line hooked up to it. I've got my air line hooked up to it. I have my crucible in the foundry, and I am going to get it started by building a small wood fire in it. Now I build a wood fire in it to get the inside of it heated up to get the oil burning really well. Have me some starter wood here, and I'm actually going to pull this out. There we go, my starter wood is burning, and I'm going to easily start dropping some small blocks down in there, a little bit at a time. Then I will give it a moment for them to get going, so when they're up and burning, I shall return. Smoke, it may not look like it, but it's actually burning fairly well in there, good enough that I can turn the blower on. I'm going to go ahead and drop some scrap pieces into it there, and then I'm going to close the lid and turn the blower on. Now, one thing I'm using to control the blower, I don't know if I covered this in my blower video, but I'm using a speed control for like a router. These can be had really cheap at like Harbor Freight or something like that, but it works really well for that, for controlling the speed of the blower. So I'm gonna turn that on low. There it goes. Thing I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to turn my oil on and my air. Down in it, I'll so that went really well. Wasn't a very big pour, but it was a quick one for demonstration purposes. I'll let the foundry cool off. I'll turn the blower back on and let it cool down on its own. And when these get cooled down and solidified, I'll pop them out. Alright, so these are the ingots we just poured, and I have many more that I have poured in the past here. So just in case you're wondering, why do we pour ingots? Well, melting it down and pouring ingots first is a really good way to get the oil and the grease and the other junk out of your scrap aluminum and the impurities that you do not want. So these are actually a fairly pure aluminum. Now the second time I melt these down, I will still get some of the slag or the dross off the top of the melt, but that is quite okay. So these are actually really good here. So another reason I like to pour ingots first is it downsizes my scrap pile. Now this right here is several pounds of aluminum. Now if these are odds and ends scrap parts, they're gonna take up a lot of space. So these here, I can just throw them in the bucket and they are ready to go. Now sometimes if I pour very specific types of parts, now I've found some aluminum is better than others, and that will be another video I get into later on. I will go over the different types of aluminum that you will want to melt down. Not all aluminum is created equal. So sometimes when I pour them, I will take a marker and I will write on them, you know, what type of aluminum it is. That way I kind of know when it comes to pouring parts whether it needs to be a really high quality part or if it can just be something that is okay. So I hope you got something out of this video, and I hope it was informative for you. And next week I will have another part in this. I am calling these my Foundry Friday videos, and I will be going over the different types of aluminum, what you want to melt down, and the kind of stuff you just want to toss. Alright, well, until then, get out there and just go make something. See you later.